Will Smith makes his debut as the Sharks lose game 2 of their preseason to the Ducks.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker of the Reef, also the co-host of Western Conference Tuesdays on the Locked On NHL channel. I want to thank you for making the Locked On Sharks your first listen. Probably part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. And if you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do is just follow along wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch this on YouTube as well. And today we're reacting to Will Smith's debut as the Sharks lose 4-3 to the Anaheim Ducks in preseason. We're going to talk about Bystedt and some of the other CUDA guys showing a lot, and then try to kind of figure out some of the defense by looking at some of the pairings that we've gotten so far in the preseason. So before we get to all that, do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Place your first $5 bet and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. And Will Smith, the Sharks' 4th overall pick in the 2023 draft, makes his preseason debut for the San Jose Sharks. And, you know, I think it's fair to say he had an up and down night, which again, not everybody's Macklin Celebrini. Smith played, I thought you saw what makes Smith an intriguing player. And you saw some of the issues that Will Smith has and some of the stuff he's going to need to continue to work through. Let's start with the positives, right? You saw the vision, several gorgeous passes to Tyler Toffoli, which I think the offense might just be get the puck to Tyler Toffoli in a shooting position this season, which not the worst strategy ever. But I have a feeling Tyler Toffoli is going to score a lot of goals because of the Sharks just getting him the puck in a good position. But I digress. So Will Smith, I thought you saw a lot of the vision, the playmaking, his ability to kind of create offense, his ability to kind of seam pucks through 3 or 4 different guys, especially on cross ice passes. You saw a lot of that tonight, and those are good things. Those are, you know, with those, you are going to have those moments, kind of like the Erik Karlsson thing, right? Where he's just so good at that. Your 9 out of 10 times is going to work, but that one time when it doesn't work, it's probably going to go bad. And you saw a couple of those from Will Smith tonight, trying to kind of force it a little bit. And that's going to be part of the learning curve for him, is learning what he can get away with in the NHL and what he can't get away with. So overall, though, you saw that. You saw at the end of the game when the Sharks were down 1, you saw that shot of his too. You know, they had the man advantage as they pulled their goalie. He's at the point and he lets off a blistering shot, and it doesn't even look like he got everything into it. That just goes over the crossbar. Like, it was very close to tying the game with about 30 seconds left in the game. But you saw the shot. I think he's going to score plenty of goals this season because his shot, I think, is a little underrated. You know about the playmaking, his ability to pass, but his shot is up there as well. So for the negatives, I think it's going to be learning about the NHL pace, and that's going to take a little bit of time for him. You know, in Boston, in college, you can kind of get away with playing with a little bit slower pace because the game's just a little bit slower, more methodical in college. And that NHL is much, much quicker. And I think that's going to be something that it's going to take a little bit for him. I'm not worried about him or anything like that. That's just going to be playing NHL games and learning like that internal clock just kind of going off a little bit quicker. So I thought he played pretty well in his own, in the defensive zone. That's, he got called for he got called for a penalty on kind of a breakout, trying to defend a breakout there. And, but he also drew a penalty, and you saw that kind of toughness from him. He took a couple cross checks, and it was good to see the rest of the team kind of come to his aid there. As the Sharks got a power play opportunity after that. But, overall, you saw a lot of the good from Will Smith, and you saw some bad from him, and that's going to be part of the experience with Will Smith. And when we get in Macklin Celebrini, right, we're not going to see Celebrini do glorious things every night. He's going to have nights where he's up and down as well. But overall, I think you give it like a solid B. Probably get some of the nerves out of just playing in the NHL. I think this is going to be a learning experience for Will Smith, and every game is going to be a learning experience for him. But I was happy with his performance. Would have been nice to see, maybe him get a clean look at a shot there at some point. But, I think his ability to that vision, right? You see it, his ability to just see things differently on the ice and kind of make those pass attempts that just other guys just can't do. And he will learn like what he can and can't do in the NHL. So, but yeah, I think it's a solid B for Will Smith. Another guy I was actually really impressed with tonight was Alex Wennberg, who playing with Toffoli and Grundström, and we'll talk about Grundström here in a minute. But Wennberg, I think, was, I kind of heralded as the like Logan Couture insurance, and he looks like the perfect Logan Couture insurance. Maybe not the same upside offensively, but Wennberg, I think, is going to fit in just nicely for the Sharks and kind of what you need him to do, and whether, kind of playing center. You saw him on the PK, you saw him on the power play, kind of playing all opportunities. He had a nice goal on the power play on a nice little backhand play, kind of using his big body and net front presence. And I was really happy to see kind of Wennberg's game tonight. I think he's going to, like I said, I think he's going to have a really solid year for the Sharks going forward. We saw Tyler Toffoli. Again, he's going to score a bajillion goals because, again, just get the puck to Tyler Toffoli in a shooting position. It's probably going to work out a fair amount of times for him. So, and then Carl Grundström, I think, is another guy who I was really impressed with tonight. And I think him and Ty Dellandrea are really kind of fighting for that same role and position. I thought Dellandrea played well on Sunday. I thought Grundström played well tonight as well. You see the forechecking, not afraid to mix it up. Him and Justin Bailey absolutely just creamed some poor Duck guy in the first period, where they both just come in. Like Grundström kind of hits him in front and Bailey hits him in the back at like the exact same time. I think Grundström is going to quietly become a Sharks fan favorite as he gets kind of accustomed into the system and stuff. And I think he's going to be a really solid bottom six forward for San Jose. And what Mike Grier is trying to build here, and again, adding that kind of depth between your top six and your Barracuda guys. But I was really impressed with Grundström's game tonight. Just that kind of heavy, no nonsense, like go see puck, get puck type of game from him. And I think he's going to make whoever he plays with, he's just going to make their life a little bit easier on the line because of that. So, I think we'll talk about, I'm kind of saving the defense. We'll talk about those guys at the end, but kind of the veteran guys, I think those are the guys, and Will Smith, sorry. Those are the guys who kind of stood out to me. I thought Zetterlund was okay tonight. You saw kind of what Zetterlund does. You also, I think, yeah, I thought he was okay tonight. So, well, and again, these lines are all funky, right? Like you're trying not to take too much out of the preseason just because of, what everyone's kind of doing and who they're paired with and kind of the positions that they're put in. That's part of the experience, is just putting guys in different positions to kind of see what they do. But, I thought, yeah, I'm not worried about Zetterlund. I think he's going to have a big year anyway for the Sharks. But of the kind of veteran guys, I think those guys stood out and gives me some hope that, again, we're going to be at least just competitive night in, night out. That's the goal, right? Just be competitive night in, night out. And if we can get some flashes here and there of the young kids, that's the goal for the season. So we'll talk about some of the Barracuda guys. Filip Bystedt, I think, had a monster night. Danil Gushchin, kind of quietly, just chipping away at things there, and talk about some of these other young guys and look at the defense and why Jake Walman probably is already the Sharks' best defenseman. So we'll get to that here in just 1 second. Hey, NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place bets. If you're unfortunately stuck having to watch the Dolphins, I think right now until Tua comes back, the under feels really safe on the Dolphins. So you can get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. You can do that over at FanDuel.com. All right, guys, before we continue, we talk about Bystedt and some of the other CUDA players. Do want to thank you guys for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. For your second listen, go check out Locked On NHL, where we got you covered 5 days a week. On Tuesdays, Seth and I talked about the Sharks and kind of the burning question around the Sharks. Or go check out anything else here in the Bay Area. Of course, you have Locked On Niners, Locked On Warriors, Locked On A's, Locked On Giants. We can get any of those shows wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. So, Filip Bystedt, have a night. I loved Bystedt's game. He showing why the Sharks were so high on him in that in the first round of the 2022 draft, which I picked at the time. I hated the pick at the time. I am eating my words. I still love Brad Lambert, but anyway, Bystedt. Their second, so end of the second period, Sharks are on a power play. He's part of the second unit. It's him, it's Gushchin, it's Jack Thompson. I think Cunning's out there, and there's somebody else who I'm forgetting right now. But anyway, Bystedt just full puck control. Go see puck, get puck, and keep moving the puck. His ability is he's kind of playing along the half wall on the dot there on the right side. If you look at the net right side, he just, his passing, his ability to play in short space and small space, especially with guys around him. I was thoroughly impressed. Every time he was on the ice, he was making stuff happen, which is good to see. Like, you want to see that. He played tonight with Luke Cunnin. So it's Gushchin, Cunnin, and Bystedt at 5v5. But I really enjoyed Bystedt's game. I think he's going to have a really big season for the Barracuda. But that showed, like, you saw that, especially that possession right there. Even as the power play expired, they continued to have pressure on for good another 20 seconds or so after the power play expired, and got a really, really solid scoring chance as well. But a lot of it was because of Bystedt's ability to get the puck, keep the puck moving, finding open guys, even if it was just simple plays, but then also finding guys in high danger spots, knowing when to take a shot himself, when to pass. I think Bystedt's primed to have a big season with the Barracuda. And spoiler for tomorrow, I have Nick Nullenberger on to break down the Barracuda, kind of preview the Barracuda. And we talk about Bystedt and kind of what, why he might be in a really, really great spot because of kind of maybe some of the guys in front of him. But Bystedt was an absolute monster tonight. He's going to have a great season. And seeing him on the penalty kill, got some chances on the penalty kill too, which is good to see, right? I think that is going to be him becoming a stellar penalty killer is kind of, I think, what will really put him over the top. We know about the offensive game, but if he can become a good penalty killer, that's just going to make the Sharks in the future Sharks very happy. So, and then of course Danil Gushchin, who all he does for the Sharks is just produce. Goal and assist tonight. The goal, absolutely beautiful goal. Using that speed of his, he's like the puck is out and he just uses his speed. It's kind of like a dump pass almost, but he uses his speed, goes out there, gets it, and just beautiful shot of his. So he also had an assist on the power play as well. Again, every time he's on the Sharks, he just produces. And I know it's been kind of quiet on what you kind of expect for him. And I still expect him to start the season on the Barracuda, but at some point the Sharks are going to have to give him a real opportunity to play a string of NHL games and see what he can do, because the talent is there. I know, like, defensively there's still going to be issues there just because of his size, but the talent is there, and he's a positive player when he's on the ice. So, like, I don't know what else you want from Danil Gushchin. Yeah, he's scoring chances. He's scored, like, that goal is him just using what he has better than other players. So I really liked his game tonight. You saw, of course, from like the Justin Bailey, Scott Sabourin, Scott Sabourin getting in a ridiculously long fight, like right as early in the game. That's what Scott Sabourin does. You're going to see him do that as well. Colin White, who the Corsi numbers are not pretty for him, but I think he's going to be a really solid addition for the Barracuda. Same thing with Justin Bailey. Corsi numbers at 5v5 are not pretty for him as well, for both those guys, but it's preseason. But like, those guys have a role, right? And I think they're going to be big contributors for the Barracuda. And it was interesting to see all three of those guys paired together, because that could be a line for the Barracuda of a Colin White, Scott Sabourin, Justin Bailey. That is a line you don't want to mess with in the Barracuda. So, but yeah, I think some of these Barracuda guys, like Bystedt and Gushchin, really played well tonight and are kind of setting themselves to have big seasons with the Barracuda. So, yeah, it's yeah, they're going to be fun. The Barracuda are going to be fun this year, I promise. At least we hope, right? We're going to talk about the defense here, kind of break out some of the defensemen and if maybe we saw some pairs for the Sharks and for the Barracuda. Why Jake Walman might be setting himself up for a big season. So we'll get to that here in just 1 minute. We're driven by the search for better, but when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't a search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data. And a matching engine helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Indeed doesn't just help you hire faster. 93% of employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites, according to a recent Indeed survey. So join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/lockedon. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. All right, let's talk about the defense. And let's start with Jake Walman, who running the first power play unit tonight, had himself 2 assists as well. He's going to be good, guys. Like, I think he's going to help. We talked about this when the Sharks acquired him. I think he's going to be big part of solving some of these Sharks issues that they had last year, right? And the main issue was getting the puck out of the zone and maintaining the puck in their own zone. And again, 5v5, this is very much, or it's preseason, I know, et cetera, but he played 1330 at 5v5 again. He played a total tonight of where you at, Jake Walman? 2107. But at 5v5, Walman had 19 shot attempts to 8 allowed. Like, when he was on the ice, the Sharks spent the time in the offensive zone, which is something they didn't do a lot last year. And yes, I know the Ducks team, they didn't have any of their big guys out there like Leo Carlson and Mason McTaggart. Like, they didn't have any of those guys out there. That's fine. You're looking at traits, right? Traits and stuff. And you saw it, like when Walman was out there, they were able to to cleanly get the puck into the zone. I thought his ability to create offense, little helter-skelter defensively. So I think finding the right partner is going to be key. He's willing to kind of take some risks there. But I think for Walman, like, he's going to get the first crack at running this power play. I think this power play is going to be good, especially with all the pieces the Sharks have, right? With Toffoli, Smith, Celebrini, Eklund, Granlund, Zetterlund, like Walman, Wennberg. Like, the Sharks are going to be able to put together a good power play, I think. That's only going to kind of, I believe, get better as the season goes on and those guys get more chemistry together. I know it's a lot of new pieces coming together right now, but I truly believe this power play is going to be good this year. And I think Walman is going to be able to be a big part of that, because you saw he's got a really good shot, especially from the point or from the blue line. And I think the pieces around it are going to really fit together. And we've seen both games, the power play be really, really solid. It had like one unit, like one opportunity tonight where it was a little meh. But overall, for the past 2 games, like between Luca Cagnoni and Walman running the power play and Jack Thompson running the power play, I think this power play is going to be really set up to be really good this year. Not like top 10 NHL, but could it be average? Which would be a huge improvement from what we saw last year. So that's what I say by good. I did like Jack Thompson. I mean, I think he was also really good tonight. He played 1328 at 5v5, 18 shot attempts, 16 allowed. He did a good job also kind of providing offense as well. And I think it was interesting that him and Jimmy Schuldt were paired together, because I think that is probably going to be a pairing for the Barracuda. I know Leo Carlson is kind of out right now. That they announced today that he's probably going to be ready in time for the Barracuda camp, but we'll kind of keep an eye on that with him. And I think that is going to be a potential pairing with kind of Jack Thompson doing the heavy offensive lifting and Schuldt kind of doing the more defensive oriented between those two guys. But I think Jack Thompson's also, especially if Mukuba Dolan is in the NHL, like we're hoping that he's in the NHL, I think Jack Thompson could be the guy to kind of take that next step and be kind of ready to take the reins here for the Barracuda and hopefully get some more NHL time later on in this season. So, but back to Walman. So he did play a lot with Ruda tonight, which I think could be a sneak peek at what we're seeing defensively for San Jose and for the Sharks this season. Last game we saw, last game, I'm pulling up the lines right now. Last game we saw, I think, a little bit more of veteran with younger player, especially because the Sharks went a little bit more heavy on the younger players. This game, right, you had 2 younger players kind of paired together on the bottom, 2 kind of Barracuda NHL kind of tweeners, and then 2 NHL guys like on the top. So you wonder if they're starting to kind of maybe try to piece together what they could see for defensive pairings going into the season. I'm trying to pull up the lines from last time to see who they was played with, but who kind of played with the most. Like last game, Cody Ceci played with Sam Dickinson a lot, right? And that makes sense. Cody Ceci, established veteran, Sam Dickinson, rookie. Henry Thrun last time played mostly with Luca Cagnoni. I know Thrun's a younger player, but he's still got, a full season under his belt in the NHL. And then Mario Ferraro at 5v5 last time played with Jack Thompson, who is, a little bit kind of the NHL and AHL tweener. But we'll see on Thursday who kind of gets paired with who again. And as I think we're going to start to see, I think we'll probably see it this week. We'll see more of the young guys getting an opportunity. But then I think we start to see kind of position battles and stuff heading into next week, and who's going to be playing with who. And we'll probably start to get a little bit more drilled down onto that, on who's playing with who, and maybe start getting to see some real lines and stuff like that. So that's going to be it for me tonight. Like I said, we'll be back tomorrow. We have Nick Nullenberger, who's going to be joins the show. Really fun time with him. It's already recorded in the can, basically ready to go. We spent a lot of time talking about kind of expectations with Barracuda, what they've done. We have some predictions, and I kind of make Nick kind of give me some answers on what he thinks is going to happen. So there's some good nuggets in there. So really good conversation with Nolly from the Barracuda. So make sure you guys are following wherever you get podcasts, and of course you can watch on YouTube as well. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. Follow me on Twitter at MyFryHole. Till tomorrow. Bye, friends.